Hi everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play slash stream Fate Stay Night of the Blind variety. Last time, tsundere. Rin is a big tsundere. Shiro's a sun around Rin for sure. Rin's starting to really show her dere side. So, that's a thing. And right, we're telling each other what kind of magical powers we use. Because I'm like, I do strengthening. Rin's like, that's it? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Accumulation, full, and transformation of power. That's my base power. I also know the popular spells. I can manage to make a boundary field that's about a classroom size. Conversion of power. Right, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's our classroom size. That's funny, because she made the classroom binding field when we were fighting. Boundary field. I see. I'm happy they're telling me this, but is it really alright to tell me about your magic? Oh, totally. Fate Zero Lancer and FSN Lancer, they do look similar. On surface value, they do look similar, but, you know, I feel like it's a stretch. Like, I have some crack theories, but I feel like that's a big stretch to be like, oh, they look similar, therefore they're the same person. See, I'm better than that. I go, Shiro and Archer don't look similar, but I still think they're the same person. It's more than just their looks. I'm happy that you're telling me this, but is it really alright to tell me about your magic?
前にエミヤ君、私に教えてくれたでしょ。なのに私だけ隠してるのはフェアじゃないから。
You told me about yours before, right? It's not fair if I hide mine. And there's that pride. You could be practical, but you can't be practical. You also like me, so you're kind of dodging by saying you're being by being fair. But you are being fair. But you're not just being fair. You also like me. Saying so, Tosaka holds out her left arm.
この前見せたけど、これが私の魔術刻印。
I've shown you before, this is my magic crest.
遠坂の家に伝わるのは転換の技法でね。自分でも他人でも、ともかく力を移し替えたりするのが得意なわけ。
The techniques of conversion is what's been passed down the Tosaka family. We're good at shifting our powers, or someone else's. Conversion. Shifting our powers. Or someone else's. How does shifting someone else's powers work exactly, I wonder? You gonna give me an example of that? Or like, I mean, I get you shifting yours, but can you like fugly wuggly with someone's wiggly wogglies?
普通、魔力っていうのは体外に出すと消えるでしょ。
Magical energy disappears when we take it out of our body, right? Uh-huh.
魔力だけで神秘は起こせない。外に出して魔力が消えてしまう前に、魔力によって魔術っていう式を発動させる。だから魔術にしていない純粋な魔力は移し替えるのが難しいんだけど。
Suddenly, we're in the prologue again, but the inner monologue became outer monologue. Okay, hopefully Shiro's like, sorry, you're moving too fast, I can't understand this. Or someone interrupts them because, oh my gosh, exposition. Why? Magic exposition. Too much. I like lore, but exposition. If Wise was here, is Wise here? If Wise was here, he'd be like, exposition, yawn. We cannot create anything special with just magical energy. We execute the equation called magic using the magical energy before it disappears. That's why pure magical energy that's not part of a spell is hard to move around. Pure magical energy that's not part of a spell is hard to move around. Look, you know, when I'm with Rin, all I want is the rom-com, you know, ust. Instead, you're giving me the magical jammies, and I'm like, I don't need the magical jammies. I just know Shiro shoots swords out of his mouth, and then he's awesome. Well, not out of his mouth, but maybe if he's got unlimited ones, he could probably turn his tongue into a sword, right? Maybe at some point. We'll get there. Third timeline. I'm jumping too far ahead. That's why pure magical energy is not part of a spell. It's hard to move around. She stops there and takes a small rock out of her pocket. Oh, she's not being interrupted. She's interrupting herself to exposition more. Is it a jewel? Oh, the jewels. Okay, this is a reminder of Timeline 1. Okay. The transparent polyhedron reminds me of a kaleidoscope.
例外として私は他のものに自分の魔力を蓄積できる。
Right. As an exception, I can store magical energy in other objects and then unleash it. You can also just, store it in yourself and I get the general idea, but what do you mean by controlling the magical wavies of other people? I'd like an example of that. If there's anything I want you to exposition to me, it's that.
いいえ、自分の魔力だけじゃなくて他の術者の魔力だって保存で
Okay,
きる
what
し。
does that mean?
難しいけど移し替えられるのは魔力だけじゃないわ。
No, not only my magical energy, I can also store others' magical energy. Okay, do you mean you can steal it though? Or do you just mean you can you could take some of my Shiro energy and use the Shiro energy later? But do you need my permission to take my Shiro energy? Can you store it and let me use it? Do you have to use it? Can you steal it? This is the thing I want to know about. How does taking other people's energy work? Although it'll be difficult, I can store things other than magical energy as well.
で、その保存場所に一番相性がいいのが宝石なの。
And the most compatible storage space is a jewel. Maybe she can steal it, but it's easier if she gets permission. Is she bad at stealing? I feel like Castor's someone who's, for example, good at stealing the energy. I suppose she wouldn't want to steal energy, so maybe she can do it, but doesn't want to because of morals and stuff. But that's the thing. Is it because of morals, or is it just not something you're good at? Or maybe because of the morals, you never trained at it, so you could be better if you weren't morally opposed? The most compatible storage space is a jewel.
宝石が想念をためやすい場。流れをとどめる牢獄ってことは知ってるでしょ？
You know that jewels are places that easily store thoughts. A prison that stops flow, right? Okay, jewel is a prison. Gotcha.
加えてずっと地中で眠っていた鉱石には強い自然霊が宿っている。そういった宝石や魔力を込めるだけで簡易的な魔術国費になるのよ。
Additionally, crystals that have been in the ground for a long time carry strong natural spirits. Uh-huh. Such jewels can become a simple magic crest when magical energy is poured into them. Crystals? Wait, can you give me a pseudo-magic crest then? Is that what you did with your drugs? No, you gave me something different, right? Or is this what you do normally when you get... No, because you normally pass on a crest. Or do you need that as a base of a crest to pass on? How do crests work? Jewels can become a magic crest. Do you need to use that as a base, or is that entirely separate from the magic crests you pass on? Can you create a new magic crest just for the weak, and then takes multiple families over time to be good? In which case, could I create my own new magic crest, or could you create one for me as a base for the... You can't even really call it the Emiya family. The Emiya family, you could say, ended with Kiritsugu. So, we don't know Shiro's original last name, so, the Shirio family. Shirio? Shiro family. Cheerios. They're like Cheerios, but, more depressing.
まあ、宝石である以上、一度でも込められた魔力を解放すれば壊れちゃうんだけど。
Well, since it's a jewel, it'll break once the stored magical energy is released. Uh-huh. Tosaka shrugs and put away the jewel. It'll break once it's released, but you can still use it as a base for a crest, or is it only like a crest? A simple crest. Can this crest be, nurtured and eventually become really awesome, like a tree? When you plant a tree, it takes, 100 years for it to be any kind of decent size. You plant a magic crest, in, 3 generations' time, it'll be halfway decent, maybe? I don't know.
なんだ、もったいない話だな。一度使ったら壊れるって、なくなるってことだろ？宝石なんて高いもの、その度に補充するのか？
That's a waste. By it breaking, you mean it'll go away once you use it, right? Do you have to replenish an expensive thing like a jewel every time you use it?
そうなのよ。おかげでうちは年中金欠でさ。
Yep, that's why we're always out of money. Who's we? Who's we? Are you lumping me in with yourself, Rin, already? Because you have no other we. Your papa is dead, your mama is dead, you have no siblings. If you have cousins, I don't know of them. You wouldn't lump yourself in with Kirei. Are you subconsciously lumping yourself in with me? Already? Archer? I don't know. Would she lump herself in with Archer? That's not really right, though, because it's not... Anyways. I mean, after all, though, me and Archer are the same person, so if we're lumping in with either person, it's the same thing, so,
遠坂の魔術師は後継ぎになったらまずお金を稼ぐところから。
Magi of the Tosaka family start by making money once they succeed. Okay, so first things first, we have to be rich because our magic requires lots of money. That's fun, but how do you make this money? Because do you have a job? I don't know if we talked about this in Timeline 1. Shiro said he'd pay her off, but I assume she has some kind of plan. I mean, you know, like, even if you inherited a bunch of money from your family, at some point you need to make some more, right? She's just talking about the Tosaka family overall. Sure, I understand that. However, you know, it's like saying, I'm the prince of all Saiyans. And it's like, you're the only Saiyan. There's like maybe one or two other Saiyans. At least in that case, you could say you're the prince of 3 Saiyans. That's not terrible. But like, you know, saying that, you know, the whole Tosaka family is poor, you're the only Tosaka family. For now. Yeah, given that I'm not a real Emiya, maybe I could be a real Tosaka.
そうか。問題ってのは人それぞれなんだな。
I see. Yeah, people have different problems, Tosaka. Yes, that is how people work usually. Rin doesn't like that she got that personal. She looks away as if she said too much. I don't know about Dragon Ball, but if this prince was royalty before all other dies, the statement is still valid. I mean, listen, I mean, it depends. Like, yeah, I suppose if you're the prince and you get a chance to bang with someone, first of all, if you're the only person of your Saiyan race left and you're the prince, you're not the prince anymore. If you're the only one left, you are the king by default. But secondly, even if you were still the king, you at least need, you know, to have, but the thing is, like, it's not the same thing as, you know, if we're to break into Dragon Ball for a second, it's not the same thing as being a king of a race of people versus a king of a species. Because, like, if you're the Saiyan king, for example, but you're the only Saiyan, and you have to mate with a human and get an inbred, does that count as a proper lineage, or does it dilute the pool? Because it's inter-race breeding. It's not just it's interspecies breeding. It's not just inter-race. So it's kind of like a monkey. I made this example without even thinking what I was saying. It's kind of like a monkey like having a baby with a human. It's weird. And even if it became a normal person, even if their genes were close enough that it works, are they really a Saiyan anymore? Wouldn't they call themselves a new species? Depends on how succession works. There's a hard age barrier. Oh, you can only be king when you hit a certain age? I don't know if I've ever heard that before. That is an interesting idea. I've never thought of it like that before, but I wonder what kind of places actually use that rule. Because I've always thought, if you're the oldest and if you're the king dies, whoever the first prince is becomes the king, but a regent would be in charge. That, yeah, okay. That I know to an extent, while they're, you know, because Game of Thrones has some regents, but there's like the idea of, but you know, if we're to take Game of Thrones as an example, it doesn't necessarily need them to be a certain age. They just need to set up, they have to go through the proper channels before they, you know, they name the new one or whoever. But royalty changes the laws, I suppose. You're right that no, like, I mean, I agree that it makes sense for someone, you know, older to rule, but like, if you pass on and you're the prince, it's still, whether you're the prince or the king, that's not even the point. Can you really call yourself that if you're the only one? I mean, you're not the only... Anyways, Dragon Ball. Haha. She looks away as if she said too much. Yeah. I think so every time I see her, but I think Tosaka is rather foolish. I'm sure she thinks the same thing about you. And Shinji doesn't interrupt us? The 5th period's about to end. Tosaka's explanation has ended, so I decided to ask her about another magus about Shinji. Does she know about Shinji? I mean, I know she knows about the Matos, but I don't think she knows. I don't believe we've told her that Shinji's a Magus unless you told her off screen. Are you telling her right now?
なあ、トサカ。シンジの家、マトウの家が魔術師の家系だって言うんだけど、知ってたか？
Okay, that's a clever way of approaching it. Hey, Tosaka, I heard Shinji's family, the Mato family, is a family of magic. Did you know that? I think she's going to respond with, how did you know that? Assuming she's on her game, but she might be too hormonally flustered at the moment.
ええ、知ってたわ。
Yes, I did.
けどマトウ家はここ数十年で衰退したって父さんが言ってた。今のマトウ家には魔術師としての血脈はないって。
My dad told me the Mato family declined in the past few decades. He said that the Mato family doesn't have the bloodline of magic now. Uh-huh. But they at least sort of do, possibly through the grandpappy. At least enough to know how to teach it even if they lost the crest.
それは本当。だからシンジがマスターになったって聞いて驚いたけど。
Wait, you know? What? That's true. That's why I was surprised to hear that Shinji became a master. Did we tell you off screen? Did I miss the part where he told her? I thought he was keeping it secret. I see, so she did know, huh? Wait, so you knew and I knew? We both knew? Then what the fuck are we doing? Can we talk about what we're gonna do about it? That's to be expected because she supervises this land and knows all about the Magi with the history that lives here. She should know that Shinji's a master. Wait, hold on! Yeah, I mean, what? At least in Timeline 1, she did not know. She was caught off guard. She was very nonchalant once we did tell her about Shinji. She didn't seem to care that much, which was weird. She didn't really care one way or the other. When she found out Shinji was dead, I don't think she really cared. But then before, when we're like, we have to team up to fight Shinji, she seemed to be busy doing her own thing. Maybe she was busy dealing with Castor. Or she was... Some of the timeline malarkey still feels a little unexplained from Tosaka's perspective. She might have just not fully trusted me. She might have also had some issues related to Sakura, or might have been related to whatever past she has with me. But, so I guess she found out in this timeline because she did her own snooping off screen, maybe? While me and Archer were hanging out? Is that what the timing was? Was? Now? Then? Now?
トサカ、シンジがマスターだって知ってたのか？
Tosaka, you knew that Shinji's a master?
ごめんごめん。私も今朝知ったのよ。シンジがマスターになるわけないって鷹をくくってたのが裏目に出たみたい。
Sorry. I guess my thinking he couldn't be a master backfired. Okay, sure, but when did you figure it out? You can laugh about it. It's fun to laugh about it. When did you figure it out? Tosaka says so as if it's nothing. Yeah, she seems to think nothing of it. I guess she mentally prepared herself for it. Maybe it's Sakura being a master that would have bugged her because she's friends with Sakura but doesn't really give a shit about Shinji. That's very fair. But, when did you find out? Ellipses question mark? That's strange. She's looking for the third master at her school, but it seems like she's not considering Shinji to be a problem at all. Shinji is the master at the school, though. He is the one doing the boundary field. She very much didn't care in the other timeline either. This seems to me, maybe this implies that she has some strategy to deal with Shinji, or doesn't consider him a real threat. Like, she's not the one who took out Shinji in their timeline, so she does have some plan to take care of him. I wonder if she knows about the grandfather principle that is possibly going to make her plans harder than she thinks. Because she seems to think it's just not an issue. And she was like this in Timeline 1 too.
トサカ、シンジはそのマスターなんだろ？
Tosaka, Shinji's a master, right?
ええ、けど別にどうってことないでしょ。シンジ自身に魔力はないんだし、そう大それたことはできないわ。
Yes, but that shouldn't be such a problem. He doesn't have any magic energy, so he shouldn't be able to do anything outrageous. Do we want to do something about him? He's a dick, right? I mean, I know, like, Sakura's whatever, but... I guess because of Sakura, but, like, could we at least talk about that? The fact that you seem to know and didn't bring it up to me either? How dare you? I mean, I knew and didn't bring it up to you, but... What was Shiro's train of thought, actually? Because Shiro initially avoided telling her that Shinji was a master. Uh-huh. That's true. That's why I was surprised to hear that Shinji became a master. Did Archer tell you? Did Archer see? Maybe Archer was looking from afar when Ryder attacked, so when Ryder attacked, maybe Archer saw, and that's what she means by Archer, by hearing about it? She did know, huh? You knew that Shinji's a master, and that makes it clear that I knew too. Does she at least care when I learned? I guess she just isn't focused on that kind of stuff and prefers looking to the future rather than to the past. Sure, especially if she's something of a speed chess person, but yeah, definitely the overconfidence. There's that too. Shouldn't be able to do anything outrageous.
私たちの敵は学校に潜んでいるマスターだもの。シンジはマスターとしての気配もないし、私たちが探している相手とは別物よ。
What? Wait, really? Our enemy is the master hiding at our school. Shinji doesn't have the presence of a master, so he's not the one we're looking for. Wait, is what you're saying there's another one? Are you confident? Are you 100% sure? I'm not doubting you if you say you are for some reason, but that means it has to be Caster's master by process of elimination. Right? Because, you know, we have Shiro, we have Rin, we have Shinji, we have Ilya, we have Kirei. We know that Caster is Assassin's master. That's 6. That just leaves the 7th, which is Caster's master. So Caster's master has to be at the school, but you think Caster's master is locked up by Caster somewhere. I said the possibility of Kazuki being the master. I brought that up, but then I'm like, that'd be weird though, because would Caster really just let her master be? Maybe, like, she's using him to pry some kind of information, but what's wrong with the school to have where half the masters in it? Yeah, it's weird, but like, that doesn't add up mathematically, unless, again, Caster's master is at the school, but that's weird, I guess. Are you sure, Rin? Are you sure? Because this was definitely never made clear in Timeline 1. Maybe that's why she didn't care much about Shinji, because she assumed if Shinji ever made a move, the other master... Are you assuming the other master is Lancer's master? Because that's not true. Maybe you assumed that if Shinji ever made a master... Maybe you assumed that if Shinji ever did an issue, that whoever the other master was would get in the way or help. But, like... It's just Caster's master, and Caster's a jerk. Also, hi, Wise. When did you come here? You were away in the beginning of my stream. I was so lonely. It's fine. Topoima kept me company. Shinji doesn't have the presence of a master, so he's not the one we're looking for.
じゃあ学校には都合4人のマスターがいるってことか。
Does that mean there's actually 4 masters at our school?
そうなるんじゃない？まあ、シンジにはおとなしくしておけって言ったから邪魔されることはないでしょうけど。
I think so. Well, I don't think Shinji would interfere since I told him not to do anything. Are you sure? That mathematically doesn't add up? Are you sure? That's a plot twist right there if she's sure, and if she's right. That's a plot twist. What does it mean, though? They're all accounted for already. Unless, again, it's Caster's, but that in itself is weird. If Caster's master is locked up somewhere in the basement, it'd be a clever move to have them somewhere obscure. You mean if they're not locked up in a basement? Not somewhere she'd be nuking enemies with magic. Yeah, and like you'd think the school where other masters and servants are hanging out would be a weird place to just have her master hanging out, especially if she's controlling him or her. So, if there's another master, then that means there's a secret 7th... I mean, it should be secret 8th master, but Caster is the 7th master, so she's a cheater already. So there's like a secret 8th master somehow. I mean, I've been assuming for a while that Rin's got some kind of plot twist going on, but I don't think it'd be her because... Sakura. Did I say Rin? Sakura's got some kind of plot twist going on, but I don't think it'd be her that Rin is sensing, because A, Sakura's not at school right now, and B, like, Rin cared about the Mato family specifically because of Shinji. So if she's sensing someone and she's not sensing Shinji, I don't think it would be Sakura that she's sensing. Caster might not expect an entire roster to be in one school. I suppose, like, based on what she's saying, it has to be Caster's master, but that just seems so weird. I don't think Shinji would interfere since I told him not to do anything. Also, you talked to Shinji. When did you do that? Can we talk about what you talked about? This seems like important shit. Because, like, didn't you talk to Shinji last time, too, and he got all pissed off? And then he ended up activating the school early anyways because he's a hot-blooded, piece of shit? So, he's, it'd be pretty boring if he did the same thing. If Shiro's smart, if he's learned anything, and if he doesn't want a repeat of Timeline 1, he'll hear Rin say, oh yeah, I talked him out of it, and then go, nah, Shinji sounds like he wouldn't like that. I don't think Shiro knows Shinji well enough based on the way they interact. At least he's lying to himself and has to be smart enough to realize now how he actually is to prevent it. Because this is exactly what happened last time, is Rin apparently told Shinji off screen, and then Shinji got all butthurt and activated the school early. So, unless me and Rin going around tearing down the seals is going to prevent him from doing it as early, that might prevent it, but like, for how long? Anyways, I don't think Shinji would interfere since I told him not to do anything. She makes another worrisome statement. You agree it's worrisome? First of all, how did Tosaka find out that Shinji's master? Yes, please!
Tosaka, ちょっと今朝の話を詳しく聞かせてくれ。
Can you tell me what happened this morning, Dita? Was it this morning?
詳しくも何もシンジの方から話しかけてきたのよ。
Are you stupid? Rin, are you stupid? He told you, and then you said, hey, don't do anything, and he said yes, and you believe him? It's not like you cornered him. He told you. Are you stupid? There's nothing much to talk about since Shinji was the one who told me.
僕もマスターになったから2人で手を組まないかって。
He asked me if I wanted to cooperate with him since he's a master as well. Uh-huh. There might have been some truth to that because Shinji's a bit of a horn dog for sure. But as soon as she says no, he'd be like, well, if you're not with me, you die. Dash, dash. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this, but I can't stop her here. Uh-huh.
続き、その続きはどうした？
So what happened after that? I'm Tosaka Rin. You just do what I say. That's logical. Yeah.
鈴木も何も当然断ったわ。
I declined, of course. I mean, Shiro declined him too. So, I mean, he just outed himself as a master to Shiro, and Shiro said no. He outed himself as a master to Rin, and Rin said no. We're both now alone. Our servants are not here. Ryder is almost certainly at the school. Can you not put two and two together, Rin, and be like, oh, this is dangerous. He knows where we are. I'm not with my servant. Is your head too much in the hormones to think straight? That feeling when Shiro is the smart one of the couple. Oh no. I mean, I was saying back in Timeline 1 towards the end, Shiro's smart when he gets past the thing of not, facing his harsh truths. Whereas Rin, I feel like she is good at adapting, but like, I don't know, she's too confident to think that she needs to adapt before she's forced to adapt.
だっていうのにあいつしつこく食い下がってくるんだもの。ついシローがいるからマトウ君はいらないって言っちゃった。
Are you kidding me? Did you word it like that? Did you word it exactly like that? Especially if he has some of the hots for you, which he does, because I think he just has a hots for every attractive female in existence. But especially those that play hard to get because of who he is. Oh, no. Of course he's gonna. Jeez and crackers. He still kept on being persistent, so I unintentionally said that I don't need him, since I have you, Shiro. He already hates me, and he has huge pride, and he hates being rejected, period. Like, it's a combination of all the worst things. Archer did say he has, she has a very bad habit of underestimating people. Yeah, he's right. He's very right. However, aren't you good at tactics in general to some point, Rin? It's one thing to underestimate someone, but like, you didn't even bring your servant. Ah! Do you have a death wish? Do you just want things to be as hard as possible because you think you can always come out on top even if they end up being harder than you expect? Maybe you think maybe that's where it comes from. Maybe you think things are going to be harder, or like if they are harder, that just means I have to prove myself more, and I can prove myself more because I'm a great Tosaka, and I should be able to prove myself more. If I can't prove myself in such situations, if they arise, then I'm not worthy of the Tosaka name or some bullshit. Being able to think well on the fly is one thing. Not, thinking right in the first place with the idea that you'll think well later is another thing. I essentially said that I don't need him since I have Yushiro. Okay, so we're totally fighting. We're totally fighting today. We're not going to have our servants. All right, cool. I wanted it to happen, but I mean, this makes Rin stupider, though. Because, I felt like it... I don't fully mind. I kind of get it. It's not that much out of character. It sort of fits with how she's acted in the past. It fits with how she was weirdly casual about Shinji in Timeline 1, too. It's just a bit of a quirk of her character, I suppose, which I'm willing to accept. But there was the possibility where we just fought anyways, and that's how she found out about Shinji, and she was caught off guard and be like, darn, I never expected that it would be Shinji, instead of, oh, I knew it was Shinji. In fact, he knows now, and also my servant's not here today. Oops! Shiro, even I dealt with the Shinji situation better, Emiya. Yep. Tosaka laughs if it's a funny story. Are you just now realizing, now that you've said it out loud, how stupid it is? Ellipses. That must be why Shinji was acting strange today. Yeah, he was like, as if he was planning something. He doesn't really have a good ability at sensing servants, right? Unless, because maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I believe it was like Shiro at least thought that, oh, of course, Shinji doesn't realize that Saber's not with me. Otherwise, he would attack me. Or did I think that? I don't know if Shiro thought that, or I think that, and I don't know who's right. But if Shinji's reckless, so even if he doesn't know for sure, he'd probably act on it with how pissed he is. But
それで遠坂はどうするんだ？シンジを放っておくのか？学校の結界ってシンジが張ってるんだろ？
Yeah, so what will you do? Are you going to ignore Shinji? Shinji's the one that set up the boundary field at your school, right? I mean, you attacked me. You wanted to, fight other masters. Are you just taking them not seriously because they're kids? Or just because, oh, you were the best kid, they're not a real magic kid? I mean, it's another master, and we have to beat the other masters, right? You fucking attacked me. I know you were, but you were still trying to... Why is Shinji special? You think you don't want to kill him? You think you don't have to kill him because, for Sakura's sake, you think you can maybe subdue him harmlessly? Even if that's true, like, that's not easy. It's always harder to beat someone without killing them than it is to, just try to beat them, period. So if your plan is to beat them without killing, get planning. It's not going to be easy. It's much easier to go for the kill.
Huh?
What? What, you hadn't thought that far ahead, Rin? You didn't realize it was his boundary field? Because it is. Tosaka freezes. Did she not consider that it was his boundary field? Did she just think it had to be someone else's? Oh, is that... So you're wrong? There isn't another master? You're just wrong? I thought so. She didn't know Shinji made the boundary field, huh? I mean, what are you thinking? You just assume there's another master? You don't even think that maybe it's Shinji's doing? What the fuck? Come on, Rin!
違うんだ、遠坂。確かにシンジは魔術師じゃない。けど、あの結界はシンジが張ったものだ。
Yeah, weirdly.
きっと キャスターみたいにサーバントの方が魔術に長けているんじゃないか。
excels weirdly like Caster. Like, almost when I first saw her, I'm like, oh, that's Caster. Or Assassin. She looks like an assassin, but she acts like a caster, but she's technically a rider. You're on, Tosaka. Shinji is certainly not a magus, but he's the one that set up the boundary field. I think his servant excels at magic like Caster. Tosaka grows pale. Oh, is it sinking in now?
遠坂、お前気づいてなかったのか。
Tosaka, you didn't know? How is this news? Come on, Rin. Are you that distracted by hormones? She must be. She must be that distracted by how much, she's infatuated with me and the fact that she has to focus on that situation, that her mind is completely not focusing on that because it's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid. But I get it. I get it. She's very distracted by her hormones, and she was very shaken hearing that Archer attacked Shiro, and she was probably so focused on making sure nothing was wrong with that she couldn't think straight about the Shinji situation, or even, consider that Shinji set up the boundary field. But, yeah, from Shiro's perspective, though, Shiro never really cared anyway. The Archer thing, he cares about it, but only for the mentality of it. He never thought that Rin, again, as he said, it was Archer that's being the jerk, not Rin, and didn't really think much of it. So he's more able to keep a clear mind here, I would say. Makes sense. Tosaka, you didn't know?
おう、あの結界がサーバントによるものだって気がついてたけど。
She broke her honor student math this morning. Yeah. I did. I knew the boundary field was made by a servant, but she couldn't make the connection to Shinji, huh? She was really off her game. Our call Tosaka was acting until now. Bet Tosaka was so worried about what happened last night that she couldn't think about Shinji. Hey, that's a good read! Good read! Oh, I like it when Shiro is smart. Oh, I have to praise it every time because of how dumb he was in Timeline 1. Which, I still think I've said this. He's not the best when it comes to, understanding, romantic thoughts. But when it comes to other inner mentalities, he's pretty good. He's bad with Shinji. He's notably bad with Shinji. But in general, he's still pretty good when it doesn't come to romance aspects, I think. It must be the biggest mistake she's made in her life. She, according to her, Archer does. Shh, don't tell this to Archer. Actually, she did tell this to Archer, and he backtalked. Summoning Archer was the biggest mistake she made in her life, but.
まずい。下手したらシンジのやつ。
Crap, Shinji might be, what, a threat? Setting us up for a trap? She gets up instantly and glares at the exit. Oh, that makes even more sense why you were so frazzled. Shinji would have frazzled you even more. Because it'd be like, hey, do you want to team up? And Rin, in her mind, is like, oh no, Shiro doesn't want to be my team anymore. No, I don't need you, I have Shiro. It makes a lot of sense why she would act that way. Because she was thinking about how Shiro might just want to, break up with her, as it were, because of the Archer situation. So she was even more on tilt and wanted to confirm to herself, no, I don't need that relationship. I have another relationship. I definitely have it. She wanted to confirm it to herself by saying out loud, even though saying it out loud to Shinji was a very bad idea. It makes a lot of sense given the circumstance. I like it. It's understandable, idiotic move. She gets up instantly and glares at the exit. At that instant, there's Shinji. No, the blood field. The disorder is revealed, as if it were carefully timed. Okay, probably were watching us. So I got my wish. We're gonna get to have a fight and neither of our servants are around. Man, Tosaka, really off your game. At least you realized. At the very end, when it was too late.
結界
Boundary field. So, last time, Shiro was forced to use his spell for Saber to show up, and otherwise he was just fucked. This time, maybe they're going to be good enough together that they won't need to use a spell, because Rin's only got one left, so if we're going to use one, it's probably going to have to be Shiro again, but last time that was Shiro's first spell, so we'd both be down to 1. But if this is more of a teammate thing, then debatably us each having 1 each is worth about as much as one of us having 2. I mean, Rin can use a command spell, but then she's out of the war afterwards, so like it'd have to be, a very last-ditch effort. The sky is tinted red. My body is numb just by breathing in the red air surrounding the school. And oh, the music all stopped. My body is numbed just by breathing in the red air surrounding the school. It doesn't affect magi that can create magical energy inside their bodies. But people with scarce magical energy will faint just by breathing it in and should eventually die. Uh-oh! Oh yeah, so Rin will be fine. Shiro should be fine-ish, though it might shake him a little bit. Everybody else, though... Archer will be like, oh, okay, so I'm not your servant anymore. Yeah, then fuck sure, I wanted to kill him anyways. Huh? Archer might do that. So yeah, Rin, definitely, don't use your that spell. Not for something stupid. I know, let's hurry, Shiro. See, this would be a better use of the spell, is if you were put in that position, for you to use your spell to summon Archer to fight them off, so, and, this would be the spell instead of the don't kill Shiro spell, that whole thing, but, if Archer really, really wants to kill me, then maybe it was useful. I personally think it was an emotional outburst, and he doesn't want to kill me that badly once he has more time to think about it, but, maybe. The school is red all around. The hallway is red like blood. The air is red like blood. The thick air sticking to my skin makes me hallucinate that this might just be a bad dream. Wouldn't it be nice? Oh! Ho 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 ho! She did the switch! She did the switch! I know, let's hurry, Shiro! She switched! She switched! She just switched, I see. She just switched. I saw the switch. Okay. She'd been calling him, Emmy, I think, during this whole conversation. Most likely. I think that was the switch. I think that was the Shiro switch right there. Because she was notably calling him Emiya throughout basically this entire thing. But then, I think maybe because Shiro, maybe with Rin realizing that they definitely have to work together here and there's no servants. And also Shiro, informing her of her stupidity, and that she has to rely on him. I think that was the turning point, that she just let herself, and also thinking more about the Shinji situation, she let herself fully give in and she dropped the first name. You saw a Shiro in there? Fuck, where was the Shiro? Now I have to take this one at a time. I want to find the first Shiro drop. This would work so well as the first Shiro drop too. But you're telling me one happened earlier? Has to be in quotes. Shinji might be caught. Couldn't be with Shinji. Shinji. This is she. I keep seeing. Maybe I saw she and I thought it was Shinji, but it was actually Shiro. Shinji. Shiro. Oh, he still kept me persistent, so I unintentionally said that I don't... Oh, okay, this would have been the first Shiro drop, I suppose. I unintentionally said that I don't need him since I have you, Shiro. Oh, that would make sense, because... I can't help it, they both start with a fucking she! That would make sense, because that was her talking about her talking to it to Shinji. And she probably said to Shinji, she probably name-dropped Shiro. Because she felt cornered and she was very unsure if she'd get to keep the Shiro connection, so she name-dropped Shiro there. And then once she realized that she said that she called him Shiro to Shiro's face, she gave it and just called him Shiro. probably in addition to the moment. It's probably a double entendre, especially if that was the first time she called him Shiro before that. Because in that case, she could have been more saying that she called him Shiro in relation to saying that she called him Shiro to Shinji and was just referencing back what she said without thinking. It sort of works both ways, if that was the first Shiro. It works as the first Shiro. Don't tell me there's an earlier Shiro. I'll fucking keep scrolling, man. I'll fucking keep scrolling. I'm assuming there's no other Shiros. That works as an earliest Shiro. Okay, I caught the Shiro. Anyways. Kuh! Now we just need to catch Shiro calling her Rin. But yeah, that shows that Rin caved first. It shows that Rin cares more about Shiro right now than Shiro cares about Rin. Shiro never would have wanted to fight against Rin, but that's because Rin had different angles. But I think at this point, Rin definitely cares more about Shiro than Shiro cares about Rin. Not that it's a competition. Breath filled with hatred escapes my closed mouth. I pour reasoning onto my confused and heated brain as coolant, and I try to grasp the situation. I run into the classroom. They cheated. They cheated with the first Shiro name drop because I was just thinking of how she was talking to Shinji, so it didn't count. It cheated. She cheated. It's fine. It works. Because she cheated, that's why it works. But she cheated! I run to the classroom, the one nearest to the stairs. Ellipses! Exclamation point. Tosaka stops for a second, hesitant to enter this disastrous scene. Uh-oh. Are we going to see Taiga on the floor again, or do we not need that? I mean, we're probably both going to get pretty fucked up. Even Rin getting fucked up might cause me to summon my... I'm assuming we don't use our spell. I am doubting we use our Saber spell here. It would be very repetitive for us to use the Saber spell again to get us out of this situation. I think because I have Rin here, we're going to be able to get out of this without using a command spell. Now, maybe an interlude is going to be involved, but I think this seems like good timing, especially because we as the audience know Shiro can sword birth to some extent, for Shiro to pull up the blades, Archer's blades, the yin and yang ones. So my guess is that Rin is going to get endangered somehow, and that's going to trigger Shiro, and then he's going to pull the yin and yang blades, and that'll be enough of a push for them to at least get away. Assuming Shiro isn't willing to just go through with it and fucking slit Shinji's throat. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but he made the move with Kirei, so dash. Maybe Rin will be willing to do it. Because Rin cares more about Shiro than Shiro cares about Rin right now. So maybe Shiro creates the opening, but then Shinji in desperation thinks as maybe Shiro turns his back on Shinji, is about to attack, and then maybe Rin takes the opening and Rin kills Shinji? Maybe. Dash. Maybe that's what the full trifecta is. First, a bad guy kills Shinji. Ilya at the time was kind of a bad guy. Then, more of an anti-hero-ish than Shiro kills Shinji. She's more of an anti-hero-ish than Shiro. And then in Timeline 3, Shiro finally gets to kill him himself. That would be great. It would work, especially if Timeline 3 Sakura is Sakura's timeline. Shiro finally getting to kill the fucker himself in that timeline would be a nice payoff. He might use the command spell as payment for Rin using the command spell for him. Yes, that would make sense. However, he already used the Saber command spell to save himself during this similar situation in Timeline 1. That's why I think it would be repetitive. But dash. It would make logical sense, but narratively, I don't know if it would be the most satisfying. I understand how she feels. I don't want to encounter such a thing either. They're still alive. It doesn't mean we won't make it. I go near a student and check his pulse and breathing. There's no conscious person in this classroom. Goto-kun! Not Goto-kun! Goto, you were the best of us! Everybody, including Goto-san. The students at the desk and the teacher up front are down on the floor now. Most of the students are unconscious, lying limp, eyes unfocused. I burped. The few others... A few students have other things happening to them. Why does this song make me think of Go? I don't know, sorry, I just, in my mind, a game of Go I was playing earlier happened where I made a mistake and the opponent capitalized on the mistake. It was a big mistake to end up winning the game by like 2 points. I was winning by a lot before that. I was winning by like 20 points or something, but I made a huge mistake, and so ultimately they won by like 2 points. And sorry, that was just on my mind for some reason. This song put it in my head, and I'm like, dang, why didn't I play better? Anyways, what? Everybody, including the students at their desks and the teacher up front, are down on the floor now. Most of the students are unconscious, lying limp, eyes unfocused. Speaking of big mistakes, I was winning a game by like 90 points, and then I made 2 big mistakes, and I ended up winning ultimately only by about 20 points. But I gotta get better about that. I gotta get better at not making the critical mistakes when I'm defining borders. Gosh, that's what I gotta learn. Because it's happened twice to me. And once it cost me a game today. They both happened to me today. I was playing a lot of Go this morning for like 7 hours. I woke up, I had a plan, I ignored the plan. I played Go for like, ever since I woke up to when I started streaming, I was either watching other people play Go or playing Go. I played a lot of Go. Oh, does that make me a Rin? Making mistakes when carving the borders at the worst possible moments? That's debatable, though, because that one game, for example, I was winning by like 90, but then I made a couple fatal mistakes in the end, so I only won by like 20, but I still won. It's just, I have to know, like, I make these greedy plays early on, knowing in my head, okay, connect when it comes to the important time, and then it comes to the important time, and I just fucking forget, and I lose a bunch of points. But the fact that I made those pushes in the first place still caused me to win. Anyways, a few students have other things happening to them. What other things? Most of the students are unconscious, lying limp, unfocused. A few students have other things. Like they're goopifying? Their skin is solidified. Oh. Wasn't it last time they were slightly goopifying? Maybe this time it's worse or better. This is better. Better for us. Worse for him because we took down some of the seals. They'd be goopifying if it was worse, but they're only solidifying, so it's better? Burned by a cold flame, all vitality has been stolen from their skin. It eerily reflects the light like wax. Or they're still goopifying like wax. Tosaka is astonished by the horrific scene. What I really have to get her better about is patterns. Because like when you're in the end game, a lot of the time you just do patterns to close borders, and sometimes I forget that, oh, this pattern doesn't work here because of this one stone there. So I have to get better of recognizing when certain stone placements affect like a pattern that normally I would think is just automatic and I would do without thinking. But that's the real kicker. Tosaka is astonished by the horrific scene. Dash, 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 dash. There's no time to think. See, that's not true. If you're playing a blitz game of Go, then that's different. But I had time to think, and I still just automatically was like, oh, this is how I block here, not realizing there was an important cut. And then when they cut, I was like, oh, okay, I have to overconnect. And then I missed the second cut, and it was like, I lost like 30 stones, and it was like, ugh. Again, still ended up winning the game, but like, ugh. Feels bad. There's no time to think. To resolve this situation as fast as we can, I should... Oh, choice. So there's time to think. Don't make endgame mistakes when you have time to think. Make the right move. Part of me thinks I would make the right move if I was playing on a real board. I play a lot of online Go, and so, I don't know, if I'm facing a real person, I would take more time to analyze the whole board. But you're just so much impatience online, I don't know. Search for Shinji with the two of us. I've started playing some real life Go, a little bit, just a little bit, and I've yet to make any huge blunders, but we're only at day 7. Is this endgame? Is this day 7 already? What? We're not on day 7. Are we at day 7? I guess if we ignore the prologue days, we're at day 4. Are we at day 4 already? Ignoring prologue days? Whoa. I didn't know we were that far. It's just because the pace is so much snappier in Timeline 2 versus Timeline 1. Anyways, search for Shinji with the 2 of us. Use the command spell to call for Saber. Oh, no, we're not going to use the command spell. I'm going to metagame here and say that's boring. That's what we did last time. But there's more. Back when we were fighting Shinji in the forest, it seemed like they wanted us to summon Saber, as if Ryder had some kind of trap. The trap might have just been she was going to summon her magical horsey, but like last time when I summoned Saber to save me. So if I summon Saber right now, I might be caught in a trap. So for a couple different reasons, mostly because I think it'd be more interestingly narratively, I'm not going to use my spell on Summon Saber. I think we can handle this. Search for Shinji with the 2 of us. I also think it'd be more interesting if we can handle this. There's no time to stop and ponder. I just spent time stopping and pondering. If this is a boundary field made by Shinji's servant, we just have to get the cause right away. Tosaka, let's search through the building. We can't have any more victims. I grabbed Tosaka, who's still standing still, and run. Oh. Were you not prepared for something like this, Rin? You know, probably she's good at speed chess, though. But she hates casualties like this. Especially if they happen on her watch. So probably she's just hating herself right now. I let this happen. I could have stopped this. So she's too busy doing that to actually think straight. So she needs to get her head in the game for sure. Let's search through the building. We can't have any more victims. I grabbed Tosaka, who's still standing still, and run.
待ってミヤ君、それじゃあきっと間に合わない。相手がサーバントならこっちもサーバントを出さないと。シンジを探し出したところで返り討ちになるだけよ。
She would think that because she cares muchly for Shiro's safety at this point. I mean, in addition to it just being a smart thing to have a servant, she really wants Shiro to not get injured, but we probably won't make it. If our enemy's a servant, we have to have a servant too, or we'll just get killed even when we find Shinji. That is not a wrong point, but thinking back, I made a blunder when I tried to jump down the stairs, the obvious escape route. You blundered, I blundered and you caught me. That seemed like the smart choice to me, and I think summoning the servant here is also the smart choice. In this case, I have metagame on my side as a side reason why I got to think more about it. But thinking back, Shinji did seem to have some kind of trap prepared, so I think if we summon Saber, it seems like the on-the-surface smart choice. But again, I think we're having to make smarter choices in this timeline. And I think this is the smarter choice if we think next-level chess, you know. Also, it makes for a more interesting narrative, so, you know, I kind of cheated with that logic too, but, you know. I see, but objection, we did that last time. That'd be boring. She says we should call for Saber. We won't make it if we wait for her to come here. Obviously, she means use your spell, duh.
レイジを使って私もアーチャーを呼ぶわ。レイジを使っての召喚なら今すぐに呼びつけられる。
She's fully accepted it. Maybe I'm misinterpreting her words. I'll call Archer as well. You'll contact him or you'll summon him with your last spell. The moment she started calling me Shiro, she accepted that she can just win through me and she doesn't care if she wins herself anymore. Is she just that fully embraced the notion? Even though Archer's competent, she cares about me that much? Use your command spell. I'll call Archer. Or do you just mean you'll call him? I guess she did literally say call and not I'll use my spell too, but the way you work, I don't know. Use your command spell. I'll call Archer as well. Saber should be able to come here in an instant if you summon her using your command spell. The only thing is, if I use my command spell, Rin knows that that'd be putting me down to 1, which would be putting me to a disadvantage. So when she says, I'll call Archer as well, I feel like that's her pride saying it's only fair if I use mine too and not just force you to use yours. which is why that's how I'm reading that line, but that might not be how she's interpreting it. She's just biting her lip. Biting your lip because you feel bad about making me use mine when you're not using your biting lip because you're going to use yours and Archer's going to be mad about it. Yeah, Archer did show some disloyalty, that's true, so that might just be like a full, I'll be just with Shiro, but, what's the point of complete servants if they don't obey him? Fair, fair, fair. Her, yeah. It seems she has got herself together, but her usual cool isn't there yet.
待った。レイジを使うなら俺だけでいい。敵は一人だろう。ならセイバー一人で十分だ。
Okay, no, Shiro got the same implication. She was saying she'd use her spell too. Hold on, I'll be the only one to use the command spell. If there's only one enemy, Saber's enough. She's not going to be a fan of that, but personally, I don't think either of you should use the command spell. Because it's lazy writing. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. And if this is the doing of Shinji's servant, our enemy is that black servant. I fought her the day before yesterday. Saber should be able to beat that servant by herself. Dash, dash, dash.
Emiya-kun, いいの?
Is that fine, Emiya-kun? Ah, yes, the fairness. She doesn't like the fairness of it. I mean, yeah. Oh, you caught yourself. You went back to Emiya. You said Shiro in the moment, but you're realizing how much you owe me, and you're like, it's not right for me to call him Shiro if he's doing this much for me. So you went back to Emiya. You're backpedaling. You're backpedaling. Is that fine, Emiya-kun? Saber should be able to beat that servant by herself. Is that fine, Emiya-kun? I mean, if we're working together, it'd be worse for me in the long run if you don't have your servant anymore. I know that your servant's kind of a douche to me, but you'll be a better fighter. You shouldn't need to waste your spell on me. I can see why you're trying to get... you definitely... I appreciate the thought, Tosaka, of... you still are in that I have to apologize to him mindset. You don't. You're good. It's smarter if only one of us uses it. Also, I just don't want to use it. Please don't.
トサカは昨日レイジを使ったんだろう。なら今度は俺の番だ。セイバーを呼んでもどうにもならないなら、その時はアーチャーを呼べばいい。
Yeah, you used your command spell yesterday, so it's my turn today. We can call for Archer if Saber can't handle the situation by herself. This is not a but thou must, is it? Please say it's not. Please say it's not.
それで、レイジの使い方は
So how do I use the command spell? You've already used one!
左手に意識を固めて目はつむった方がいい。頭の中で自分のレイジの形をイメージしてスルッと紐解くだけでいいわ。もちろん解くときは命令をしながらよ。
Concentrate on your left hand. It's better if you close your eyes. Imagine the shape of your command spell and release it. Give an order while you release it, of course. Close your eyes. Oh, that's what you do when you do yours? Imagine the shape of your command spell. Is magic stronger when you close your eyes? Is it like your eyesight gets worse, your other senses get better? I suppose he used it unconsciously, but if he's already done it once unconsciously, I think he can extrapolate how he did it. I don't know, maybe he's too much of a feeler and not enough of a thinker, you know, even despite his recent smart increasings. Give an order while you release it, of course. Is he just doing it? I closed my eyes. Is he just doing it or is he going to get cut off? I don't know, because, like, what was the point of the choice? Come on. Come on. Like, you give us a choice, and there's a clear thing I want to happen, so I pick the thing, and you're like, no, doing it anyway. Is this for Rin points? Which one's the Rin points? Is it saying I'll summon my Saber? Because she would still respond with I'll do Archer, and then I'll respond back with no, me just Saber. So like, I feel like this was plenty of Rin points either way. So if there's no way, it's just a but thou must. What? Why give us a choice then? That's gonna bug me because I like the choice of not choicing. I like the choice of not choicing, so why give us a choice if the choice is if it's just Rin points? That's gonna bug me too, because it doesn't seem obviously like Rin points. And in addition, this is a choice I cared about, so if it's a but thou must because of some point system, no! Lame. I can't take my time. Please get interrupted. Please, Shinji, Ryder, someone, interrupt him. Don't let him do it. I eliminate any thoughts in my head as quickly as I can. I concentrate on my second command spell.
頼む。 来いセイバー
Please come, Saber. Maybe they have a trap? Maybe the trap Shinji was alluding to earlier can trap Saber when they show up. Which means I was right to not summon Saber. But maybe like, if the trap didn't trap Saber, it would trap someone else, so we need Saber here to at least be bait. But what's the trap if they didn't have it last time? What's the trap? They didn't have a trap last time other than just fancy hornicorn. And now we have Rin with us this time too. So if there's an extra trap, did Maki resupply an extra trap? Why do we have an extra trap this time and not last time? If there's no extra trap, this should just be easier. So, I don't know. Please come! Saber! And I release the command spell without any hesitation. Why'd you give me a choice? Maybe the game didn't realize how much I cared. But, like, that's so lame. Don't give me a choice if you're just gonna force it on me. I didn't want it. That's lame. My hand burns. At the same time, I feel an unnatural heaviness right beside me, and a knight in silver emerges from the heavy void. We still haven't seen Mitsuzuri today. We gotta see Mitsuzuri again. All my grievances all at once. And when are we fighting Rin again? Maybe it's just never happening now. She likes my dick too much at this point. She already called me Shiro. She crossed the line.
Saber!
召喚に応じ参上しました。マスター、状況はレイジを使うほどのことなのですね。
I have come in response to your summons. What's the situation, Master? It is grave enough for you to use your command spell, correct? Yes. Yes, because Rin stupidly didn't bring Archer today. We were forced to summon you instead. Because she cared about my feelings. How dare she? How dare she care enough about my feelings that I'm forced to use my command spell? Grumble, grumble.
見ての通りだ。サーバントに結界を張られた。
It's Ilya points? Oh, if it's for Ilya points, I'll forgive it. I'll forgive the game if it's for Ilya points. Ilya, best girl. Give me the secret Ilya route, please. Or maybe Ilya route is just Route 3 and I'm lying to myself that it's the Sakura route. I would hope so. I mean, I like Sakura too, but I can't help Ilya being best girl. It's just as it looks. A servant activated this boundary field.
1秒でも早くこいつを消去したい。
I want to remove this boundary field as fast as possible.
承知しました。確かにこのフロアにサーバントの気配を感じます。
Maybe it's actually Shinji points. Giggity. I understand. I certainly feel the presence of a servant on this floor. Oh, 2 lives become 1. Hold on. Weapons. Kansho Bakyo. 2 great men shared life. Remember that time in Time Life 1 where I'm like, of course, Shiro and Shinji fuse and become Archer in the future. That's how it happens. That's how it's the Shinji route. Archer's the combination of the two. That's where his dick tendencies come from, the Shinji half of him. I understand. I certainly feel the presence of a servant on this floor.
このフロア、4階にいるっていうの？サーバントが。
This floor, the servant on the 4th floor. So last night, when Saber came and had an interlude and came to the temple, I thought and wanted Rin to come, but this time, when I wanted it just to be me and Rin that deal with the situation, Saber comes. Wait. Yeah. Yes. No. Wait. So I'm saying I didn't want Saber both times? Wait. Hold on. My mind. Yes, no, it's just, I you know, it's like we keep getting Saber, and Saber's great. However, Shinji's a great man. I keep thinking, where's the Rin focus? And I guess this is Rin focus, but doesn't Saber kind of take it away a little bit here? Because we had Archer focus last time, and Saber did some stuff. Rin wasn't around. Here we get the Rin focus, but now Saber's coming in. Instead of getting the cool chance to have a just us 2 masters against the world, it doesn't happen, so... But anyways, the servant's on the 4th floor?
間違いありません。に、それが何か。
I'm sure about it. I'm sure of it. What about it, Rin?
ああ、セイ バーの感知なら確かだろうけど、それはおかしいのよ。結界の起点は1階から感じられる。サーバントの気配を感知するのはサーバントであるセイバーのが優れてるでしょうけど、こと魔術の功績に関しては私だって負けてない。
No, I'm sure that's the case if you say so, but that's too strange. I can feel the origin of the boundary field is on the first floor. I'm sure your skill to detect a servant's superior to mine, but my skill to detect magic is pretty good too. The origin is on the first floor? Because, so, the rider's on the fourth floor means rider's trying to trap you in some way. Do we just have confirmation at this point that rider is rider? Or do we not know that? Hold on, let me check. Oh, shoot, we have assassin. When did we get assassin? No, wait, we always did assassin. We had assassin. We just, I probably saved and then checked. That's right. Do we have rider? No, we still don't know rider is rider. QQ Lane, don't know the real name. Berserker still don't know the real name. My skills to detect magic are pretty good. Has Rennie seen Wakame? I don't know what that is, so probably the answer is no. My skill to detect magic is pretty good too.
サーバントはこの階にいるのに結界を張っているのは1階だってことか。
So you're saying the servants on this floor from the boundary field was set up on the first floor? What could it mean? It's almost like they know we're here and we're luring us into some kind of trap.
断定はできないけど、私はそう感じてるわ。
I can't say for sure, but that's what I feel. I'll admit I appreciate that both Rin and Shiro are smarter in the sense that they both know to go straight for the command spell to summon Saber right away, rather than in Timeline 1, where Shiro, you know, stupidly just tried to fight Shinji and only used the command spell at the last second. He used it kind of unconsciously because, like, it was a desperation. Wasn't consciously, I mean, he was consciously going for it, but he didn't know, you know, all the steps like he knew this time. So there's that to appreciate when looking at it in parallel, but I was just excited for the setup of two masters without a servant fighting Shinji Rider, but oh well. But it's kind of a nice parallel. The fact that we're more prepared from the start means, I don't know, if they're smart, they'll lead to a different setup ultimately, but I don't know how. I mean, is Shinji just gonna get beat at the school? Like, we have Saber with us. We wasted a command spell. Hopefully it's worth it enough that we can just beat Shinji here. Does he get away? Or does he just not get away this time? Last time he got away, and then he was the first one we beat. I'm thinking. Now that it's really come to this point, that's kind of similar to what happened towards the first blood, essentially, in Timeline 1, was we fought off Ryder, we went looking for Ryder, we found Ryder, we beat Ryder, and that was first blood of Timeline 1. I don't know if they'd be repetitive and have the same first blood, but if they do, they wouldn't do it the same way. If they do have Ryder as first blood, then I think it's going to be a case where we kill Ryder here, and take out Shinji here, and he never gets away. That would help show Shiro's growth, but also, I mean, Rin's with us this time, where she fucking wasn't last time, even though we don't know what she was off doing last time. Just thought I'd point that out again, Rin. We don't know what you were fucking doing last time. You're at school this time to help us. You weren't there last time. What were you doing? We don't fucking... Anyways. Still scars from Timeline 1, but... It will still have shown some level of improvement, but also Rin just happened to be here this time. She could have been here last time too, and she wasn't. However, getting past that, if we don't kill Shinji here, I think there's a real chance Shinji just gets away. The idea of Shinji getting away, though, Shinji got away last time when we were less smart, less prepared. So shouldn't he not get away this time to show growth? If he does get away this time... he might try to ally with someone else, like Castor. Like if he's working on the orders of big boy grandfather Makiri, assumingly, then there might be some potential to team up with Castor or something. Maybe. Because I don't know where Shinji goes from here now that he's outed himself. Because me and Rin were holding off. Me and Rin were holding off because you know, we're like, oh, Shinji, you're totally a nice guy who we don't need to attack. But once he initiates the attack, where does he go from here? Does he have a way to get away? Elia wouldn't care to team up with him. We know what happened last time. She just went in for the kill, unless she wants to team up with him because Archer interests him. It's fitting Archer interesting Elia because Shiro and Archer are the same person, and Elia we know that gets interested in Shiro, right? Oh, looking at your watch, it's a great idea, Venim Storm. This is a perfect time to take an intermission, actually. I need to refill my water. This is what happens, Venim, when you test my impatience. Or no. Wait. Anyways. Shinji go down soon? First blood again? Because he's outed himself, so... But yeah, we're taking an intermission here. The one intermission of the stream. So you're saying the server's on the first floor, even though the boundary field was set up on the first... No, this floor, even the boundary field was set up on the first floor? Can't say for sure, but that's what I feel. The source of the boundary field has to be on the first floor. Does that mean Ryder has like a relay point? Are you saying Ryder should be the source? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that there's something separate? What do you mean? Or do you mean it was first originated there, but not necessarily that Ryder has to be there? Are you implying something or nothing? Dash. There are two alternatives, huh? If Shinji arranged for his servant to come to this floor, one has to be a trap. Yeah. I assume this floor is the trap. But yeah, there definitely does have to be a trap. Shiro thinking about traps in advance. Nice. We've come to such a similar situation. See, part of the reason that I thought that we wouldn't summon Saber, or wouldn't summon a servant, is that it would be more realistic for Shinji to get away and live to not be First Blood again. I mean, he can just be First Blood again, but... I didn't know. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed the idea of doing the servants in a different... Doing the servants. I'll do Ryder. I don't know if I'll do Caster, but I guess I've already done Saber. I kind of enjoy the idea of doing the servants in a different order. So just be kind of like, oh, he's just first again. And at that point, I feel like they're just going to go for the rule of 3 and have Ryder first every time or something. Whereas, yeah, with Saber here, I'm less likely to believe that Shinji and Ryder are going to get away this time. Because if they do, it's like, even though we're better and have Rin with us, they still got away this time? Why? What edge do they have this time that they didn't have last time? Because we have an edge this time we didn't have. So... Everyone in the school will pay the price if we make the wrong choice. Oh, are we choosing again?
Rin, Archer はどうしたのです。彼がいるのなら、もう少し確かな判別ができる。
Rin, where's Archer? We can make a better analysis if he's here. Oh, she didn't bring him because, you know, hormones and emotions and stuff.
それがあいつ、呼んでも答えないの。この結界、完全に内と外を遮断してる。レイジを使うか、あいつがこっちの異常を感知して駆けつけてくる以外ないわ。
Don't worry, you don't have to use it. He's not answering me. This boundary field has this... Maybe he's not answering you on purpose because he's being coy. No, he's not that kind of person. He still wants to win the war, assumedly. Or at least he wants to get to the bottom of something going on with the Grail. He at least wants to prod the Grail. He's not answering me. This boundary field is totally cut off from the outside world. I'd have to use the command spell, or we'll have to wait for him to detect this and come here. Dash. Don't worry about it, Rin. We can do it. It's fine. If you use your command spell, you're out. It'd be different if you still had 2 left, but... Tosaka and Saber glare at each other. I mean, yeah. I mean, Rin wanted to use one. I should point out that Rin was going to, and I talked her out of it. It's only fair of me to say that at this point. His stated intentions that he also doesn't want a bad person to win the Grail. Well, sure, yeah. But he also said earlier that he thought the Grail was just a... I don't know if he knew as much as we knew, or if he was just assuming, or if he was pontificating. But he said the Grail was a grody bad thing that normal, you shouldn't want, is what he said when we were talking way back when. But in the present, yeah, Tosaka and Saber glare at each other. It makes sense for Saber to be mad because Shiro, in this alliance, Shiro wastes a spell, but Tosaka doesn't. However, I can explain the situation. And yes, Shiro was dumb for just not having Archer here, but I think we can get over that because now our alliance is hopefully fully settled if we can just get past this. But now's not a time to be doing so. Can you explain that you're the one who said no, Rin, don't? Okay, the first thing to do is get rid of the anonymity. Like, come on. Oh, Saber, please don't do that. Rin suggested that Rin wanted to, but I said no, don't bother because she only has one left. Boom, done, settled. And I think Saber will accept that for the time being. But you don't do that, so just going to continue to have anonymity? Is that how Shinji gets out of here? Because Saber and Rin are at each other's throats? Think. And they used to like each other so much. Me and Archer got in the way. We're breaking everything apart. Except me and Rin are closer together than ever, but... Tosaka didn't have her composure. Doesn't have it. Which means I need to have my composure. Good, Shiro, good. At least you realize that while she's dumb, you have to be smart. The best thing we can do right now is... Are you going to decide for me? Normally that would lead to a choice. Alright. We'll go search the first floor. You're just deciding for me. We're not going to bother with this floor? You're going to the first floor? You assume that the fourth floor would be the trap if Ryder's presence is on the first floor. I suppose that makes sense, but Rin is sensing the first floor. Ryder's on the fourth floor. Rin is sensing the first floor, though. Wouldn't that be the trap? Because wouldn't Shinji know that Rin would sense the first floor? Maybe Shinji's not that smart, but I don't know. I feel sorry for letting Saber fight by herself, but she should be able to take the servant on by herself. You could at least explain to her why Rin hasn't used her command spell, because she's probably butthurt for that reason.
Saber, servantは任せた。一人で戦えるか?
Saber, I'll leave the servant up to you. Can you fight by yourself?
無論です。では白は
Alright, she'll accept it because she's honorable and stuff. She's just gonna have she has the dirty eyes to Rin, not to you. Of course, what will you do, Shiro? Of course, I'll whip out my yin and yang blades. I don't know. You'll fall into a trap, and then I'll whip out... I made the wrong choice. You fall into a trap, so I whip out... Maybe I'm not whipping out my yin and yang blades yet. It felt like the right time, whatever.
遠坂と一回に急ぐ。俺一人じゃ危なっかしいだろうが、遠坂がいるならなんとかなる。それに、魔力感知は遠坂しかできない。一緒に行くぞ、遠坂。
Wait, you're also going to the first floor, right? Isn't that what you said? Wait. I'll go search... Oh, you're splitting up? What the fuck? What? Why? Okay. Really? Okay, I guess one of them is debatably a trap, but... Okay. I feel sorry for letting Saber fight by herself, but she should be able to take this servant on by herself. So are you being stupid? You don't give us a choice, so you can be stupid, so you get an excuse to use the yin-yang blades? Which points you would have been better off not using the spell like I wanted to, like the choice you gave me, and I chose, and you said, no, we use a spell? Because otherwise, this just feels like it's going to be easy peasy. I'm going down to the first floor. I might be unreliable myself, but I'm sure I'll be alright if Tosaka's with me. Besides, only Tosaka and technology. Let's go together, Tosaka. You keep saying Tosaka. And I know they repeat names quite a bit in Japanese, but you don't have to repeat it so many times in English.
ええ、当然よ。言われなくても一人で行くつもりだったわ。
Oh, Rin, you had that little blush for a second, don't lie. You like it when I take charge? Yeah, of course. I was going to go on myself if you didn't ask me. So me and Rin go bottom floor, Saber goes top, Ryder supposedly at top, Shinji probably has a trap for... Maybe Shinji has a trap for Saber that he always had... Well, he still probably had something of a chance to use it in the other timeline if there was such a trap and never did. Unless the trap is just the unicorn, but then, like... Maybe without Shiro there, but Saber shouldn't be distracted because there's no hormones in this timeline with Saber. Maybe Shiro, though, did actually call Saber out of the way in Timeline 1. I don't quite remember. Maybe though, when he used the unicorn, Shiro was like, Saber, get out of the way! And Saber otherwise didn't get out of the way in time, implying that Ryder will win if Shiro's not around. So maybe we beat Shinji, Ryder beats Saber, and then we have to deal with the fallout? Yeah, of course. I was gonna go by myself. You didn't ask me. It's decided. So now...
何してんのよ。椅子の足なんて折って正気
He's getting his weapon. Nice. Doing things in advance. Smart, Shiro, smart. What are you doing? You insane? Breaking a chair like that?
武器は必要だろ。俺は強化しかできないんだから、元になる獲物は必要なんだ。
I mean, you're gonna have to lose your weapons so you can use your sword birth to get Archer's yin and yang swords. But sure. We need a weapon, right? I can only use strengthening magic, so I need something I can strengthen. I swing the leg of the chair. It's exactly like the time I got attacked by Tosaka, so you have experience. I easily succeeded the strengthening magic, and I also take another leg while I'm at it. Oh, dual wielding! Are they gonna end up dual wielding? Your first time dual wielding, because you're thinking of the yin and yang swords, right? It's exactly like that time I got attacked by Tosaka. I easily succeed. Yeah, because before the Lancer thing, you had never succeeded. And then with the, but the Lancer thing and Tosaka thing are arguably you did them under stress. But this time, you did it without stress. You're not in a highly stressed situation, and yet you've succeeded at your strengthening, which, you know, shows maybe that how you're more on target, you know, because of, like, stuff that Ayako said to you, who we need to get back to and talk to again. And maybe also your connection with Rin is strengthening your goal. Your connection also with Archer and seeing the two blades strengthens your plan of the two blades. So you get the one blade, and then you whip out the second blade, maybe. So it's easier because you have a more clear picture in mind of what you wish those legs would be. So instead of taking a desk as a shield, we're gonna dual wield swords. I like it.
白、外に微弱な気配がします。どうやら包囲されたようです。
What? Sure, I feel weak presence outside. Seems we are surrounded. Okay, either Shinji's doing something magical, or maybe Shinji's working with Caster? Maybe after what happened, finding how strong Archer was, maybe Caster seeked out another weak link like Shinji and said, hey, let's work together, because this Archer guy's a pain in the dick, and I need some way to beat him. So maybe there's Caster puppets? That's how they could spice things up. Otherwise, Shinji's just doing some weirdo magic. It's probably not very good.
包囲されたって何？
Surrounded by what?
わかりかねます。ですが、外に出て確認するだけの
I
話で
do
す。
not know. We only need to go out and check. If it was Scully's, that would make sense. Otherwise, it might just be some Shinji magic, which isn't much to take seriously, I don't think. I mean, you take it seriously, but I don't think it's going to be a big threat.
そうだな。戦闘頼めるか。
You're right. Can you take the lead? For a second, I thought he said, "Can you take the leg?" And I'm like, "What do you want me to do with the chair leg?"
無論、あなたの盾となるのが私の使命ですから。
Of course, it's my duty to be your shield. Also, if you don't mind, you can be my sword too. Saber runs out into the hallway.
行くぞ、遠坂。こっちは1階だ。
Let's go, Tosaka. We'll go down to the first floor. He's putting off saying Rin, even though... Well, to be fair, Rin did backpedal and started saying Shiro, but... Or started saying Emiya again, but I think... It makes sense that Shiro hasn't quite dropped the Rin line, because when he's in the middle of battle, his mind isn't as flustered. He's also... I think he needs more alone sexy time. And I think he needs Rin to be in put in a dangerous situation where he has to save her, maybe, before... Or rather, not just he has to save her, but he sees the possibility of her not being saved, and then, you know, bursts out the dual blades to get to the point of maybe dropping the Rin name when he's forced to acknowledge how much he cares. Possibly. With Saber, this was never a thing, because Saber is just Saber. Although, I guess Saber's also Arturia, and eventually he called her Arturia, I guess. Did he? I mean, not much. I think they were mostly fine with just calling her Saber. But with Rin, it's a bit different because it's, you know, an actual normal name and not just a subtitle. But they have the Scullies! Shinji is working with Caster now. These are the Caster Scullies! Okay, that makes it interesting. Okay. Of course, after what happened to the temple, Castor was not happy. She needed some way to deal with Archer because she went and got fucked. She only got away with it because Archer let her get away with it. So, of course she would do something desperate. She teamed up with Shinji. Or teamed up with Makiri probably. He probably set it up is my assumption. Grandpappy. Makes sense. Okay. What was my theory again? Which one? I have too many. You'll have to elaborate. Ryder and Castor being the same person? Oh. That is a theory. I just assumed it was crack at this point. Because we have all 7 servants. Unless there is a Ryder we haven't seen yet. Which, okay, sure. Maybe Ryder and Castor are just the same person. They could be. Maybe all my crack theories are true. I didn't think it was that crack at the time because we didn't have all the servants revealed. But then eventually I just accepted, okay, yeah, they're different people. But maybe not. Scullies. The instant we go into the hallway, we find out what's surrounding us. I mean, I would be more on board with the theory if it wasn't for the fact it logically makes sense for Castor to want to team up with Shinji. So that's why I'm like, oh, it's probably still just that. But maybe my crack theory's right. Are those bones? She says her master is a puppet. Maybe Ryder is Castor. Under the logic where Ryder's Castor for a moment. Because I just like to entertain the idea. Shinji being someone she considers under her control makes total sense because he's totally a scrub. For sure, 100%. So is she working with Makiri from the start? If this theory is true. And then Ryder, yeah, Castor said that her master was alive, or at least implied as much. She didn't state it, but she implied as much when we were fighting her then, and yet later on, when she confronted us, she said her master was dead. And by then, Shinji would have been dead, and we never saw Ryder die, and I made a stink about that at the time. I made a stink about it, that we never technically saw Ryder die, so I expected that she'd still end up, you know, like, I thought that when Saber won with Excalibur, I thought, okay, that's nice. Now, Ryder barely lives, and we need a little bit of a finishing grace. We never got the finishing grace. And, you know, Wise kind of convinced me that, no, it makes sense. I knew Saber was King Arthur from Fate Zero, but they hadn't revealed it yet. So showing off Excalibur in such a big reveal, it works for Ryder to get killed that way. That works. It wasn't, you know, there was still, it was slightly anticlimactic to me, but I was willing to concede that that was because of my Fate Zero knowledge. However, it's serving a double purpose if it really is that she survived all along. And yet it still worked as a climactic victory, assuming you didn't know that she was already King Arthur. So Ryder being Castor could still work, and it would be neat for it to turn out to be true after all this time. But it still logically makes sense that Castor and Ryder are just teaming up at this point, because Castor would want another way to beat Archer after she got her butt kicked. Are those bones? Things made out of inhuman bones are coming in great numbers from the other side of the hallway. I could see, because if Castor realizes that, that, you know, Rin is Archer's master, and that Archer is not here, and that killing Rin would be a convenient way, she might be willing to get desperate and show her other trick. Not only does she have, like, Assassin as her servant, but she's secretly playing the role of 2 servants at once. But then she has to know there's another servant in addition to that, because she's pulling off some kind of trick? Maybe. She should know then that there's a secret additional servant. Is that servant actually the servant that belongs to a secret Sakura plot twist? I don't know. I think there is a secret Sakura plot twist. I'm pretty confident about that. I don't know if she has a servant, but... Okay. seeing these Scullys here. This would be a desperation move if Ryder is caster, because she never showed her hand, showed a clear connection between the two in Timeline 1, because she never felt she needed to if this is Ryder being caster. In Timeline 2, she feels threatened by Archer, so she's willing to take this push to try and really eliminate Rin, even if it kind of plays her hand a little bit. Sakura having the real Ryder as her servant. There'd be some amount of fittingness there because, you know, Shinji, the scrub, has the fake Ryder, and then Sakura, the cool bro, anyways, has the real Ryder. They're both Matos. There'd be some cool parallels there or whatever. That's exactly my point. I talked about that shit. In Timeline 1, Sakura was never there almost the entire time. Even after Shinji's death, I was like, how is Sakura gonna react? We never fucking see it. The only reason to not show us is that it's a plot twist they're hiding. Because there's like narrative fallout that I wanted to see, and they never show us. The only reason not to show us, in my opinion, is they're hiding something. Anyways. Things made out of inhuman bones are coming in great numbers from the other side of the hallway. That's why I'm so sure at this point. For a long time, I was like, is there something going on with Sakura? But the fact that they never got back to what was happening with Sakura after Shinji died to not show us the fault of how Sakura felt about it is what really cemented into my mind there's definitely something up with Sakura. Anyways, from the other side of the hallway.
Tosaka, あれは
What is that, Tosaka?
ゴーレム、使い魔の類でしょ。いいからこっち。あいつらはセイバーが引き受けてくれるってば。あんなの何体いようがセイバーの敵じゃない。
Golem, it's kind of familiar. Just come this way. Saber will take care of them. They won't be a match for Saber no matter how many of them there are. Wait a second. Oh. I assumed Rin encountered these. Didn't Rin already encounter these? Or did she and she's gonna bring that up? Because I thought, didn't she fight something like this at, because we fought these basically in Timeline 1 when Saber came to our... When, Ryder came to our house, but, or sorry, Castor. I'm already starting to self-accept it. When Castor came to our house, we fought these in Timeline 1, but if, I suppose it's possible that us, the viewer, knows, but they, the characters, don't, if whatever Rin and Archer fought were different enough from what these are now. But I assumed that Rin already fought these. Rin, please elaborate if you've already fought these.
Saber.
I'll leave it to you, Saber. Please don't leave me hanging. Rin, be like, I fought these with Archer before. Please, please, please. Please do it for me. Ah! I run to the stairs. Now we just don't know. Which means, that would make it like, I guess it doesn't really matter, because it would just be a case of, I don't know. I run to the stairs. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal, but... The sounds of Saber destroying the bones echo behind me. If Ryder is caster, that's a well-built-up plot twist for sure, because this makes logical sense for caster to want to team up with Shinji at this point. So, it's a well-built 2 plot twist that you can logically see the other outcome for before it happens, which is the best kind. We run down the stairs. It's not that far to the first floor. Shit, let me make sure I keep a track of my time. I'm getting sucked into this because of the Ryder. Nope, I still have about 40 minutes. I'm good. But... Damn you! Caster teams up with herself. Yep. Damn you! Still think Caster and Ryder Theory is top tier crack? Well, I think it's a battle at this point because, you know, I have you people give me mixed messages. Wise is like, yeah, the Shiro Archer theory makes sense, but Ryder Caster is crack. And then Topoima's like, Shiro Archer, that's weird, but this Ryder Caster thing makes sense. Pfft, you're both screwing with me. They're both true. Damn you! I smashed the blocking bone creature with the chair leg in my hand. They both have purple hair. Exactly! Just like how both Lancers are the same person. You can tell by the hair color. No, it's more than that. We haven't had a clear look at Castor's face. That was the other thing. When Castor showed up, I'm like, could that still just be Ryder? She said her master's dead. Shinji's dead. We haven't seen a clear look at her face. Anyways. Maybe Arthurs are so cracked we can use them in the 20th century medicine and we're just screwing with you. 20th century medicine? Okay, you're going too far for me now. This is the third one already. It might be because I saw the disaster, but I don't care about confronting these monsters. Yeah, you need to get to the source. In other words, my mind is numb. My proper emotions such as hatred, fear, sadness, and cowardice have all frozen up. The only thing filling my mind is the desire to get to the first floor. I take the two swords in my hands and swing them like I saw him use them. Ditch the frickin' wood swords, just use sword birth. I guess these you can actually keep around for a long period of time. Sword birth you have to keep, it's more of a burst, to be fair. Okay, you're really getting into it. What's Rin doing? Don't go that way! I smashed the fourth bone creature. Alright, Shiro's doing good. He can at least deal with these bone creatures fine. He didn't fight them very much in Timeline 1, because I guess his style wasn't the best, and Saber was the one more fighting them. But we knew Rin and stuff fought them off screen, but assumedly. Or maybe Saber just dealt with them all. I assumed some would have made their way into the area, but there was never a clear indication, so it might have been that just Rin and Ilya never had to deal with them in Timeline 1, but Ibidil Shiro is so much more competent than Fate Shiro. Yeah, it's not just more brains, more bronze too, because he's more focused. A trend of using drugs that later turned out to be bad news. Oh, well, I mean, a lot of drugs are bad news, but... I smashed the fourth bone creature. The bone creature that tried to attack Tosaka from the side gets smashed and smacks into a wall. Tosaka, you want to stop thinking about hormones and help me out? Tosaka, are you alright? She didn't expect me to be so competent. She's still, like, processing, like, how is she gonna help, maybe? Dash. She assumes she might have to be the one to help me all this time. Well, that's right. This whole time, back when she tried to take me out of the war, it was on her mind that she had to protect me. Like, she had to save my life when she brought me back to life with the Lancer thing, and then she met me earlier, and she's the one who's been a mage all along. She feels like she should be the one who's protective in the relationship. So when I'm protecting her, she feels all weird about it and doesn't know how to respond. Good, Tosaka isn't hurt at all. Tosaka, where's the origin of the boundary field? It's right there. It's in that classroom. Turns out Shiro is a top, even in the Rin relationship. And here I thought he'd be the bottom this time. The place Tosaka points at is about 10 meters ahead. It's right there. It's in the classroom. Okay. There are a few more bone creatures that followed us down the stairs. But we don't have time to deal with them. Okay, just keep going forward, though. Yeah, just don't get surrounded, and it's fine if you let some come from the back of you, I suppose. Slashing Washi! I parry the attacking sword with a weapon in my right hand. Ba-bam! I attack the defenseless body with the weapon in my left hand. Shazam! I destroy the fifth bone creature. Maybe you should start, when you fight with Saber, you should start practicing using two swords. Have you already done that, though? Just because you're using some of his movements doesn't mean you're using his style. Is this your first time using his style, or have you already practiced with Saber using this style? Nobody pushes as hard as Rin does, unless they're looking for someone to push back. But maybe that's the secret. Rin all along does want someone to push back. Which I think is true, to an extent. Anyways, I destroy the fifth bone creature. But there are more of them. There are at least 10 bone creatures in the hallway. Damn, they're persistent. Why don't you guys run out? And that's the thing. That's why I'm more confident on the Shiro is actually Archer in the Future Past theory than there being a connection between Ryder and Castor. And the reason is because I see a clear through line where Ryder isn't Castor. Whereas I honestly don't know what they're going to do if Shiro isn't just Archer from the future past. It feels like that connection is so strong at this point. Anyways, just thought I'd bring that up. Why don't you guys run out? I retreat a bit. The chair legs in my hand are worn down. They don't run out because there's just so many Scullies. Even though I strengthened them, they're originally only stainless steel. I don't know if they'll hold for even one more attack. Well then, discard them and actually start doing sword birth if you're about to run out anyways.
Shiro, 下がって。
Get back, Shiro. Finally, she starts helping out. You come off your hormones, Oh, and you call me Shiro. You called me Shiro again. You gave in. Wait, are you going back and forth, or did you full give in? Because you called me Shiro. You called me Shiro. I don't think you've been calling me my name much recently. But here, even though you backpedaled and called me Emiya, I think once again, seeing how much I'm protecting you again, you just feel like, okay, I'll just let myself be embraced and call you Shiro. Get back, Shiro. Huh? I'm surprised, but I back up like she tells me to. At that instant, Tosaka jumps out in front of me and throws a jewel at the bone creatures. Is it Kerpa? Even though it's spelled O with the two thingies on top, but it's O. Alright, I won't question German. Ein Kerpa. Ein Kerpa. What she said. Why did I try? I normally don't try to voice the German, but I did this time. She fills my vision with pure white. Dash, dash, dash. That must have been some sort of a release spell. There is no sign of destruction in the hallway, and only the scattered remains of bone creatures are there. Alright, I think she pulled her weight. I took out a few of them one at a time, but she took out a bunch at once. I think we're about even now in terms of how many we've killed, probably.
ありがとう。助かったわ。トパーズなんてめったに使わないから用意するのに時間がかかって。
Thanks, you helped me out. I rarely use the topaz, so it took me some time to get it ready. Oh, is that your excuse, or is it true? I feel like this could definitely be an excuse, given how flustered she's been. She might be trying to maintain the high ground by saying that, oh, my attack just took time to get ready. Or it could be true, but still. I don't deny that it takes her time to get stuff ready, but also I think she probably could have done something more on the fly.
正直、エミヤ君がいなかったら数で押されてた。
I would have been overwhelmed if you weren't with me. Okay, that seems like an admission, so maybe there's some truth in that statement. Alright. Alright. You're admitting that you need me. Look at that. I mean, you already needed me when I saved your life from the dagger rider threw right at your face and I caught it. With my arm, if memory serves. Caught it with my arm? Or did I actually catch it? Anyways, it was going at your face. She lowers her shoulders in relief. No, I think he caught it right in his arm. That's why he got so injured. Yes. Anyways. But she only does so for an instant and glares at the classroom.
行きましょう。あそこにシンジがいるはずよ。
Shares the tank. Rin is the DOS attack, the DPS. So, in that case, if Rin needs time to charge her spell, she's more the black mage to Shiro's fighter. Rin also has white mage capabilities. She can heal. But, you know, she used her big jewel to heal. She can do small healing. So she's not full black mage. But she's black mage-ish with some white mage subclass. Shiro is definitely full fighter. He has potential, like his magic is just based around fighting anyway. So fighter and black mage with multi-class into white mage. Tosaka runs to the classroom. I follow her and step into the red classroom. It is a pure hell here. Oh, like this is the first floor center? Is this where Taiga is? I don't remember the exact location of Taiga or if she's even going to come up this time, but it would be weird for her to not come up this time. She should still be in the school, assumedly. The air in the classroom cannot be called gas anymore. Is this like a gas leak? Is it right or is Caster? The vaporized blood dyes the eyes of the beholder like paint. Beholder! That's a D&D creature, but also you can't just be a beholder. That's very fair. I mean, you can play as a beholder if you want. There'd probably be some homebrew rules, but voices of anguish can be heard from all over. This is the origin of the boundary field, the place where absorption is the strongest. The students lying on the floor are totally different from the students on the 4th floor. Okay. If Castor is Ryder, what's the point? What's the point of pretending she's a servant that she isn't? The point is to hide the fact that there's a secret other servant. Did she actually summon 2 servants? Maybe there's another Ryder and she also summoned Ryder? Well, I don't know. Because the only point really to pretending to be another servant is if you know what's actually going on with that servant and are taking advantage of it, in theory. I don't know. I still think that's kind of crack, but there's definitely lines that it could be true, but origin of the boundary field, the place where absorption is the strongest. The students lying on the floor are totally different from the students on the 4th floor. The moanings I hear are just hallucinations. The students have pale faces, and they don't move as if they're dolls made from wax. Moanings you hear are just hallucinations. Uh-oh! PTSD! Tosaka is staring at the scene, her legs shaking. I hear a chattering sound. It must be to suppress her emotion. Tosaka's teeth chatter as she beholds the scene in horror. Yeah. Shinji did this. He was okay with it. Or he's being mind controlled. I don't know. He was always a douche. If he is being mind controlled, I don't feel that sorry for him. If Ryder is Castor, Ayako went missing, almost certainly related to Shinji in some way. But, you know, if we take that a step further, if Ryder is Castor, Castor has said that she could potentially control anyone in the city, theoretically. Just because, you know, assuming that their metachlorians are low enough because she has a net over the whole city. So could she have made Ayako some kind of sleeper agent? Dash. She moves her shaking legs and steps forward. Between the desks is Taiga. Let's not justify any of Shinji. Yeah, because that's the thing. We know Shinji was an asshole from before. We know it to some extent he's, you know, done some dirty, naughty stuff to his sister. So, like, it can't be as simple as, oh, he's normally a good person. I mean, I'm not denying the possibility that his grandpappy is a douche, and then maybe his grandpappy instilled some of his douche tendencies. But if he did, then Sakura beat the douche. Sakura managed to turn out as a good person, I think. I think she's genuine. She moves her shaking legs and steps forward between the desks. There's a living person there. On his butt amongst all the fallen students. Wait, what? Oh, he's just sitting there? Fucking being a cocky asshole. On his butt amongst all the fallen students, Mato Shinji is looking up at Tosaka. Wait, is he dead? Is he dying as well? Is Castor Ryder and she's just killing him? Or is he just being like, hey, what's up?
Shinji, Anta.
Shinji, you. A stern voice. He must have reacted to the voice. Shinji let a strange cry and jumps away from Tosaka. What?
言い訳は聞かないわよ。あんたがやったことの代償はどんなことをしても払わせてやる。
Why aren't they showing him to us? I'm not going to accept any excuses. I'll have you atone for what you've done no matter what. Shinji lets out a strange cry and jumps away from Tosaka. Why wouldn't they show that to us? That feels weird. My red flag radar is pinging. Red flags, what's going on? This is weird. Tosaka goes near Shinji.
違う僕じゃない
Caster is Rider isn't crack anymore. Okay. Just starting just now. Shinji has no reason to not be pompous right now. When they walk in, he would just be with his servant. He does not grovel like this unless he absolutely has to. No, 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 no. It's not me, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me! This is not a terrible tactic if he's just lying. But based on my understanding of his personality, I don't think he'd lie right now. He wants to be in control. Even though he lies, he wouldn't lie and make himself look like a shit. He'd want to have the high ground all the time. He wouldn't act like this for the sake of strategy. He's not competent enough. And you thought this was just going to be a repeat of Timeline 1. You're right. It's more interesting than that, for sure. Okay, Rider as Caster officially has merit now. Alright, alright. Until I wouldn't have... You brought it up to me, Tipoima, but probably it wouldn't have been until just now where I would have taken a second thought to be like... And then I probably been like, maybe Rider is Caster. It's been on my mind because you brought it back up to me, but... I probably would have considered it at this point if I hadn't before now. I believe him. So what's Shinji gonna be in the... Okay. So Rider as Caster, I have now... is fairly strong in my mind. What does it mean if Rider's not Caster? Let me think about that. Shinji says he's not doing this. This blood seal is identical to what Rider did. How can Rider not be Caster? If Rider's not Caster, Rider is... Sorry, scratch that, reverse it. If Rider's not Caster, Caster is controlling Rider. Maybe it's possible Caster can control Rider without being Rider. Let's also think about the implications of Shinji no longer being in control and not essentially being necessarily part of the war anymore. Will he end up helping us and working with us? That would be extremely interesting. I would love to see a Shinji redemption arc. I say that with full honesty. I love seeing assholes be redeemed if it's done well. No, 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 no. It's not me, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me! There is a precedent of Caster controlling servants. Yeah, but with Assassin, she summoned Assassin. Unless that's the whole idea, is she summoned Rider and just pretended that Rider was summoned by someone else? I suppose there's a possibility there that she summoned Rider and then pretended like Rider actually belonged to Shinji, somehow tricked him into thinking that because Shinji's just stupid. There's a possibility there. Makiri makes that more complicated because if Makiri... I'm just going to assume for now that Makiri's the grandfather. I'm going to keep saying that until it's proven otherwise. Makiri makes that more complicated because he probably would have been known about that and been like, I don't know if I'm okay with that. Unless Makiri is in on it with Caster. There's a precedent of Caster controlling servants, so maybe she got desperate and went for the weakest servant after Archer. Oh, I mean in Timeline 1. With Saber in the bad end. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, so maybe Caster just took control of Rider like that, the weakest servant. I don't know that she'd do that. I know Caster is desperate, I suppose, but she takes Rider? True, Shinji and Rider are kind of like the weak link. I suppose, and before in Timeline 1, she would have never needed to think that it was even worth her time. Shinji would just get taken out, and then she would deal with the aftermath. But then after the Archer thing, again, I thought that they formed some kind of an alliance. But yes, it could very much just be, no, Caster just took her over. However, that seemed to be a big deal when she did it to Saber in Timeline 1. From what I understood, I thought that it was something she had to build up to because it was some crazy technique of hers that Saber couldn't get too close. And yet she couldn't do that in Archer when they were facing there, even though she was at her temple. So my assumption is she had to take a lot of time to build up the spell needed to take control of Saber. Now, maybe she has a weaker form that's good enough to take Ryder? It's not impossible, but I think it is more likely that Ryder is caster, if I'm going to be honest, at this point. It could still work the other way, though. That is true. That's fair. She could just be controlling Ryder. But it's more fun if she just is Ryder. No, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me! Saber has magic resistance A. Very fair. What is Ryder's magic resistance? Wait, they don't fucking give us Ryder yet in this timeline, right? She's not here. We don't know that she's Ryder. Because she isn't Ryder all along? Is that what they're doing in timeline 2? No, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me! Shinji shakes his head and retreats to the wall. Yeah, this feels genuine. He does not do tactics like this. He is way too much of a pompous.
僕じゃない？よくもそんなことを言えたものね。
I still think you should be very careful of him. In universe, you should be very careful of him because you don't know him like I do. I would say you haven't gotten to see the full spectrum of his actions from Timeline 1. It's not me. How can you say that?
いいから、今すぐ結界を解きなさい。解かないって言うんなら、その顔吹っ飛ばしてでも。
Just go ahead and stop that boundary field. If you won't, I can blow off that face of yours and...
違う。だから違う。僕じゃないんだ。殺したのは僕じゃない。
Her? 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 No, I said it's not me. No, it's not me. It's not me that killed her. Sakura? Ayako. Ayako was never found. Ayako's actually dead. Taiga? All potential candidates. Ayako, Taiga, Sakura. I could see them all as being possible. They'd be a big deal no matter what, I'd say. Ayako would piss me off on a personal level because, like, I thought we were gonna get more of her in this pathway. Ugh! So if I have to be mean and make a preference, I kind of hope it's Sakura or Taiga because I think the fallout could be interesting. And Ayako, the fall could be interesting too, sure, but I just wanted to get more living Ayako in this pathway, please. Ugh. Ellipses question mark? This is strange. Shinji's running away from Tosaka, but he's not looking at her. No, he was looking down at someone. Is it Taiga? Because he looked up at Tosaka and then backed away. He's saying, it's not me that killed her, it means someone who's here. That could be any of the three. Ayako wasn't supposed to be at the school, but she might have come anyway? He's looking at the floor right by our feet. Oh boy, this seems like a fun plot twist. Who's it gonna be? By our feet? Oh, are they gonna give us a full image of this? Please delight me. Give us a full image of this. I want to see it. I mean, you can keep it subtle, but you can at least show us enough to get an idea of who it is with an image. That's the best way to do the twist. Don't just give us text. Don't just say with text. Give us an image. I look down. Ilya would make no sense. Ilya would just make no sense. And it wouldn't emotionally hit right. It would hit me because I like Ilya, but emotionally it wouldn't really work in the situation for Shiro. There are only students that fell unconscious. There isn't anything else.
Tosaka.
Tosaka! I call at her and point to the place. Huh? A stunned voice. She must have forgotten her anger towards Shinji. The instant she sees the thing on the floor Tosaka's intent to kill fades away. What? Wait. What? Isn't that... Ryder? Wait. What? I mean, of course Shinji wouldn't have killed Ryder if that's meant to be Ryder. Shinji never would have bothered with that. It's fucking your servant. You don't really need to elaborate on that. And here I thought it was someone like Taiga or Sakura or someone, you know, who cares if it's Ryder? I mean, look, she's hot, but she was an enemy servant. She had to go eventually. Dash, dash. My breath stops. Unless there's a double plot twist and Ryder is secretly Sakura. I don't fucking know. The thing on the floor is completely dead. So let's say Ryder is Sakura. Ryder is Shinji's servant. Sakura is Shinji's servant. I don't know, like, are they hiding in the face just because grotesque? Or because there's a plot twist? They've never shown us a full reveal of Ryder's face. So Ryder can't be Caster in this case. That means Caster is just fully controlling and killed Ryder and hijacked the seal. That's a little boring if that's the case, but it means Shinji gets to be on our side. The long purple hair. The woman covered in black clothes. The servant that attacked me. Ryder. How do you know it's Ryder? Wait, I mean, I think you do know, but it's not listed. Oh, she's here now. Whoa. Master, Mato Shinji. Sex, yes. Chaotic, good. Magic resistance, B. We still don't know her name or anything. We got her appearance. We should have had her appearance before, but... Do the butt smash. Oh, that's not kinky. So Ryder will be first blood again if this is true. Just not in the way I expected. Woman covered in black clothes. The servant that attacked me. Ryder. She's dead? So Shinji has to work with us too. That would be very interesting. That makes for a more fun swerve, but what's the point? Just to fight Caster some more? If we didn't know that this was Caster's doing, because in Timeline 2 we haven't seen the Scullys yet, so if we didn't know this was Caster's doing, this would be an interesting swerve. But if we just know this is Caster's doing, unless there's a further twist, it's not necessarily that interesting from a plot standpoint. It's interesting from potential character potential, because seeing Shinji as a good guy seems like a fun idea. But if it's just, oh, Caster killed Ryder and hijacked, that's a bit of a lame twist compared to what it could be. Tosaka's voice contains no emotion.
だから僕じゃない。僕がやったんじゃない。結界を起こして誰も動かなくなったのに。ライダーはあいつ。
So you did do the boundary field. You are the asshole. It's not me. I didn't do it. I executed the boundary field. Nobody was able to move but Ryder was... That means the servant on the 4th floor isn't Ryder, it's Caster. And we've seen what happens, at least at the end of the timeline, if Caster's already ready for it. We've seen what happens when Saber confronts Caster one-on-one at the end of Timeline 1. So this could be bad, potentially. Ryder was... Actually, the battlefield, nobody's able to move it. Ryder was... The black servant, Ryder was killed in one blow. By what? What was she killed by exactly? Assassin? Is Assassin here? Makes sense Ryder might go to the way to do this after the Archer fight. She'd want to snipe Rin because Archer's a problem. What kind of a weapon was it and how was she killed? Only one blow against a servant. Well, this keeps up the tradition of Ryder just being the weakest servant, let's be honest. And, you know, she is first blood again, if that's the case. Only aiming for the neck and killing the enemy by ripping the neck apart. Only aiming for the neck sounds like a thing... Oh, sounds similar to how Ryder fights. Assassin does not sound like the type to do that. Caster, I mean, I don't think she'd have a moral problem with it, but do we have a weapon in mind for... Wouldn't be Archer. Wouldn't be Berserker. Wouldn't be Archer, wouldn't be Berserker, wouldn't be Saber. Lancer, I guess it's just Caster, but like, I don't know. I guess it's possible that Caster is the big bad of this timeline and it's a slow burn reveal. If that's the case though, after this, we definitely need to follow up on Kirei Gilgamesh for the midway point, I think. Essentially, they'd be our version of dealing with Berserker from timeline 1. Because we already know Gilgamesh just kicks Caster's ass, so... Only aiming for the neck and killing the enemy by ripping the neck apart. I can't even imagine how it was done. It must have caught her by surprise, but the enemy must have been skilled to cut her neck in one blow. It doesn't sound like something Caster would do, but Caster is obviously the one doing this, so she must have set something up. Maybe she set something up where as soon as Ryder would do the thing happens. Didn't Ryder have a thing where she injured herself, though? Wasn't it like blood magic? That's right, the whole thing is that she like injured herself to get more power. So it sounds like something Ryder would have done to herself. So maybe that's the trick. Ryder is Caster, and this is just a fake dead body to trick Shinji because... I don't fucking know. No, can I call it cut? It looks like someone put a jack in there and ripped off the meat and bone by crushing it. They just, like, ripped off the head? Sounds like Berserker. Ryder disappears from this world. Okay, if that is a trick. It could be a trick if you have enough magic set up. Maybe there's some illusion magic. I don't know that that's Caster's forte, but... The real world disappears at the same time. It could be, though. With illusions, you never know. The whole plot twist could be, my magic was illusions the whole time. That's how I'm also Ryder. And all these times you thought I was using other types of attacks. I'm really an illusion specialist. That's the plot twist, and it works because I do illusions. Oh, the red world disappears at the same time. It seems the boundary field was created by this servant, as I thought. So the boundary field disappears? Wait. Oh, it just disappears? Wait, but the Scullies are... Wait. Oh, wait. So Caster... Wait, so Caster just... Wait. So Caster attacked Ryder as soon as the field was summoned. Why? The Scullies can attack Saber, but... Why does Caster care? I mean, isn't it better for Caster to just let them fight it out? Unless Caster's master is hiding out at the school. But then why wouldn't Caster care in the last timeline? I feel like if Caster cares now but didn't last time, it should be because of Archer and wanting to corner Rin and kill her, but then why couldn't Caster just let them fight it out and then pick off the pickings? Caster didn't do that. I don't know. Seems the boundary field was created by the servant as I thought. But...
Shinji, これをやったのは誰?
Shinji, who did this? My apologies, I didn't read the dashes. Dash, 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 dash. Oh, it's fun seeing Shinji like this. You gotta have a redemption arc now, though, right, Shinji? I mean, this is your excuse to have a redemption arc. So, Shinji, don't fuck it up by just being a douche. Maybe Caster's master wasn't in school in the last timeline, but was here in this timeline? I have to wonder what caused the change in that case. Maybe they were trying to snoop on Rin? Maybe, if that was the case, maybe Caster had their master come to the school to snoop on Rin because Archer's the master. Archer's the servant that Caster's worried of. And then while there, coincidentally, Shinji does this boundary field thing. And he's like, no, I have to kill you. Although, I feel like Caster would have known it was set up, but Caster can't necessarily predict Shinji's going to use it. Caster might have known it was set up and then set up a trap where, okay, I want to snoop on Rin, but if Shinji tries this field thing, I have a way to just deal with it immediately so my master's not in danger. Maybe. As Tosaka closes in, Shinji slowly retreats toward the hallway.
言ったでしょ、学校にはもう一人マスターがいるって。その忠告を無視して騒ぎを起こしたあんたの落ち度よ。
I told you there's another master at our school, right? It's your fault for ignoring my warning and causing this panic. It's a bit of an anticlimax for Ryder, but it works because we already had a climax in Timeline 1. Granted, of course, there's always the multiple timelines. In Timeline 1, we never saw how Assassin got killed, so I don't know. It's your fault for ignoring my warnings and causing this panic.
どうやらサーバントを見殺しにして生き残ったみたいだけど、相手の顔を見たんなら次はあんたの番よ。
I'm so lost in my own plot
どんな
twist
マスタ
world
ーだか
that
知らないけど、必ずあんたを始末しに来るわ。
I completely ignore Rin as she tries her best to regain the high ground in front of her husbando Shiro, tries to pretend like she's still in control of everything. I told you there's another master at our school, right? It's your fault for ignoring my warning and causing this panic. Heh, it seems you survived by watching your servant die without helping her. But it's your turn next if you saw the enemy. I don't know what kind of master he or she is, but I'm sure you're next. You can even see the sweat on her face as she speaks. She's trying to regain her composure by one-upping someone she knows is easy to one-up. Or at least she thought was, until it's like, he one-upped her by activating the field, so she's reclaiming that, like, haha, I told you. You know, as if Rin predicted all this would happen. It's your turn next if you saw the enemy.
そんなことあるもんか。僕にはもうサーバントはいないんだ。マスターじゃないんだから。狙われるのはお前たちだけだろ。
That can't be true. I don't have my servant anymore. I'm not a master anymore, so you guys should be the next target. He's got a point.
そうね。まあ確かにその通りか。あんたにまだ霊樹が残っていようと、放っておいても害はないもの。
Yeah, well, you're right. There's no harm in letting you be if you have the command spells. I think there's debatably harm, especially if Makiri's in off on some BS. I mean, I understand both for Sakura's sake and because you're just kind of a nice person why you wouldn't want to kill him at this point. At least tell him to run away scared to Kirei's church. Okay, this could go on for a while. It's a very interesting scene, but, you know, I have a deadline today. And that deadline is 1 minute ago. So, actually, it's probably 3 minutes from now because my clock timing is a little off. Whatever, I should stop early rather than stop a bit late. So, Ryder not... Oh, yes! To answer the question I had in my last save point... Hold on. Shinji go down soon? First blood again? Ryder first blood? Shinji maybe? Shinji redemption arc? Given the circumstance, they have a perfect opportunity to give a Shinji redemption arc. I think that would be fun to see. I enjoy redemption arcs. But we'll see. I could see, I don't know. They've given a pretty perfect opportunity. I hope they give a Shinji redemption arc. I just enjoy redemption arcs, and it's such a perfect opportunity for him to have one naturally. The new trio could be me, Rin, and Shinji instead of me, Rin, and Ilya, because Ilya might take a little longer, but... I don't know what your real quick is, but if you're going to show me whatever, you can wait till next time, because I do have to stop. But anyways, for the YouTube audience, I still don't know what Wakame is. I'll see you guys next time. Still have an outro phrase. Things are interesting. Much excite. Outro phrases. Did I ever say no outro phrase? Well, I said it again. Goodbye.